Welcome back, guys. Today onwards, we'll start chemistry. So, the second lesson in your physics textbook, that is acids, bases, and salts. Okay. Firstly, coming to this lesson, we need to know more about this acids and the bases. Well, in your 7th standard, you guys had a lesson that is acids and bases, right? In that class, you have studied that acids. What are acids? Means acids are sour tasted. Acids are sour tasted. Yeah, acids are sour tasted. And coming to the bases, bases were bitter tasted. Bitter tasted. For example, in your 7th standard, you have taken a lemon. Okay, lemon contains an acid. It is nothing but a citric acid. Okay, when you taste the lemon, it looks it tastes like a sour tasted, right? Yeah. And coming to the bases, if you look into the soap or something else, if we taste it, it's so bitter to taste. Yes or no? So we simply consider them as acids and bases in your 7th standard. Okay, a little bit small experiments, and also we did some experiments by using whether the substance is an acid or a base. We just viewed a substance. Okay, and that thing we'll call it as an indicator. What? Indicator. It is a substance. By using this substance, we would easily say whether the substance is an acid or else a base, right? So coming to the indicators, we have some artificial indicators and some natural indicators as well. Litmus paper is one of the major indicator. Coming to the litmus papers, we have two kinds of litmus papers. One is a red litmus paper and the other one is a blue litmus paper. Okay. So suppose if you consider this keys, I simply write in here something that is BAR, right? If you consider blue litmus paper, yet what? Blue litmus paper turns to red. It indicates that it is an acid. What? Blue litmus paper turns to red. It is an acid. Blue turns to red. It becomes an acid. And then red litmus paper turns to blue. It becomes a base. Okay, just remember this thing. Just remember the word. You will get to identify the litmus papers, right? If blue litmus paper turns red, it becomes an acid. If red litmus paper turns blue, it becomes a base. Okay, now you might got it out. If blue litmus paper remains blue, what it might be? If red litmus paper remains red, what it might be? If blue litmus paper remains blue, it is an base. If red litmus paper remains red, it is an acid. You need to remember these 2 points also. So you need to consider these situations whether the substances might get changed or not, right? So by using these litmus papers, you simply identified whether the substance is an acidic or else a basic substances. We simply did all these similar kinds of small activities in your 7th standard. And also coming to the natural indicators, one more natural indicator we have used is turmeric. You know what turmeric, right? So turmeric powder, if you consider the turmeric powder, when this turmeric powder is made into a paste, okay, we just pasted the turmeric powder on the sheet of paper, and then we did something little bit interesting. That is what? Very little bit interesting. That is, one is you will take some amount of soap water, right, and just spread over here, and you tend to see there might be some of the red color might gets happens. It indicates that blue. Okay, it indicates that red color, yellow color turmeric just turned to red color, which means that substance is basic in nature, right? So coming to the acids, there is no changes, but in recent times we might find little bit experiments, right? So that is, if you consider lemon here, okay, just try to inject this turmeric liquid inside. Now tell me what would happens, right? So we'll deal with it later in your 10th standard, right? But in your 7th standard they had given like this. But while coming to the 10th standard, you might get little bit changes also here, right? We'll deal with it later. Now coming to the 10th standard, there is an addition to this acids and bases. We also deals with the salts. Okay. So coming to the acids, Firstly, coming to the acids. In your 7th standard, you have studied what are acids. Acids are sour tasted. Wonderful. Coming to the 10th standard, if anyone asks you what is an acid, you simply say the substances. Okay, you need to consider the substances which have excess of H plus ions. What? Normally the substance which contains excess of H plus ions, and they tend to donate them. What they do? They tend to donate them. Wonderful. Coming to the acids, the substances which have excess of H plus ions, okay, and they tend to donate them, okay. So those substances we'll call it as an acids. Coming to the bases, same definition goes for bases also, but here a little bit different thing happens. That is the same, the substances which have excess of OH minus ions. You need to remember these two little bit different concepts. What? Acids contains excess of H plus ions and bases contains excess of OH minus ions. Okay, and here those acids donate something. What? Those acids donate these H plus ions, and these bases just accept those H plus ions. Right? The definition is very simple, right? Acids were the substances, they tend to, okay, they have excess of H plus ions and they tend to donate these H plus ions, while on the bases, the substances which have excess of OH minus ions and they tend to donate these, they tend to accept these H plus ions. Now, you might get it out. Acids contains OH minus ions or not? Yeah. If you look into the solution, if you consider the solution, if I say it is an acid, wonderful. If it is an acid, what happens is it contains 90 to 95% of H plus ions here, but remaining 5% might get OH minus ions. Okay, which means OH minus ions are also present here in this solution also, but what happens is there is a little bit amount of percentage here. But in this case, what happens, coming to the basis, we have the solution. In that solution, it has OH minus ions, that too in higher quantities, that is 90 to 95%, and here remaining 5% it contains the H plus ions, right? I think you might get the difference between these two. Yes, wonderful. So if anyone asks you about an acid, what is an acid? The substances which have excess of H plus ions and they tend to donate these H plus ions. That's it. That is the proper definition for acid. Coming to the bases, the substances which have excess of OH minus ions and they tend to accept those H plus ions. Clear? Now, so in this case, we'll deal with, I think we might got a little bit introduction to the acids and bases, and we also discussed about what we have learned in the 7th standard also. Let's get into the activities one by one. In this video, we'll deal with 1 or 2 activities. Okay, we'll deal with first, second and third activities. So let's start the activities now. So we'll deal with activity 1. So coming to this activity 1, okay, it just says us about the indicators. What indicators? We just discussed about these indicators before, right? So what is an indicator? An indicator is a substance, okay, an indicator is a substance. By using this indicator, we are just going to say whether the substance is acidic or basic. What? By using these indicators, we will be going to say whether the substance is acidic or basic. Wonderful. In activity, they had given us some substances now. Okay, and he might ask us to identify whether the substances were acidic or bases, right? So he had given some of the substances. Okay, let's see one by one. We'll start with the first one, that is HCl, hydrochloric acid. In the name it has hydrochloric acid, right? While pronouncing it, I said acid. So I simply say it is an acid, right? Okay. While moving to the next case, we have H2SO4. It is nothing but sulfuric acid. And next we have HNO3. It is nothing but a nitric acid. What? First thing is HCl. Second one is H2SO4. And the third one is HNO3. nitric acid, and the third one is CH3COOH, that is nothing but an acetic acid. Next we have sodium hydroxide, NaOH, and nextly we have potassium hydroxide, KOH. Okay, and next he had given us magnesium hydroxide, MgOH, taken twice. Wonderful. And coming to the fine, NH4OH, that is ammonium hydroxide, and coming to the final we have calcium hydroxide, CaOH, taken twice. Okay, so these were the substances he had given as in your textbook, right? So coming to these, and he had asked us something, that is, we will be going to take some indicators here: red litmus paper, blue litmus paper. Okay, wonderful. Red litmus paper, blue litmus paper, and just note it down in your notes. Then try to find the answers to these now. So we have red litmus papers here, blue litmus papers. We have a solution of phenolphthalein. This spelling is very important: PHENOLPH, phenolphthalein. And one more thing is methyl orange. Okay, so he might give us, these were the some of the substances he has asked us. So in the description I am going to provide you a PDF. Okay, in that PDF we are going to get majority of these indicators and their different colors, change it into different colors, right? Okay, we'll just go through those and you will get a clear idea about this, and try to complete the table and put me the answers. Okay, try to complete these by using the PDF. Okay, and I'll provide the answers to this table in the next video. Okay, but just copy it and try to find the answers for this by using this PDF. Okay, so I'm going to say the answers for this in the next video. Okay, keep that in mind, and just we'll move on to activity 2. Okay, just deal with activity 2 now. Okay, it's a very simple activity. In this case, what we are going to do is, we'll take a cover. Okay, let's say this is a cover. Okay, and we'll take a sheet of cloth. Okay, we have taken a cloth here, and we're going to put a cutted onion here. Okay, now just try to scroll it. Okay, just fold it like this, and put the whole thing inside this cover. Okay, now try to close this cover. Okay, by using a knot or something else, but don't allow any air to escape from this cover now, right? Now just this whole thing inside your fridge. Okay, just put the whole thing inside your fridge for whole night, and early in the morning we'll just do simple thing, that is, we'll just open that fridge door and take out that cover now. Okay, and if you take out that cover, will contain the cloth that too immersed inside the okay, it is just folded on the onion, right? Now when you open this, we tend to find the chopped onion, and that onion, okay, is present here. Just remove that onion and throw aside. Wonderful. And then if you look into that cloth now, just smell it. It smells like onion. Why this happens? This happens because what happens is it gets soaked with the onion, right? The fluids that is present in the onion gets absorbed by this cloth, and you tend to smell it like this, right? Now we'll do a little bit interesting, that is, just cut this cloth into 2 pieces. How many pieces? Just cut this cloth into 2 pieces now. Okay, wonderful. Now we'll take 2 things, one here and the other one here, right? Now we'll do is very simple thing. In the first thing contains HCl solution. Okay, HCl is an acid, and in the other beaker we'll take NaOH solution. What? NaOH is an base. Wonderful. Now simply dip these 2 cloths. Okay, just rinse it. Okay, just rinse it, and then we'll take 2 more solutions here. 2 were the same, that is nothing but distilled water. You know what is distilled water, right? So distilled water is also available at your home. That too will simply say inverter water, right? In your inverter we tend to pour some water, right? That was distilled water, right? Now just dip these two cloths inside the distilled water and clean them. Now open it and try to smell them, right? In the beginning when you smell these two clothes, you tend to smell like onion, right? Yes, but when they two dipped inside a different solutions like HCl and NaOH, and when they both washed with the distilled water, and when you smell it, when the cloth is dipped inside the HCl solution and it is washed with the distilled water, it smells nothing. Okay, there is no smell. Okay, there is a change in smell happens here. But coming to the NaOH, okay, in this case still onion smell comes. Okay, in the HCl what happens is still onion smell comes, but coming to the NaOH, what happens is when you washed it off, the smell got vanished. Okay, there is a change in smell happens in the basic solution, that is NaOH. Now these kinds of solutions, these kinds of indicators, okay, these were nothing but the indicators. We say indicator, onion is an indicator. In this case what happens is there is a change in smell happens when it is dipped with the basic solution. Yes, it is not, there is no change in smell while it is dipped inside the acidic solution, but there is a change in smell when it is dipped inside the basic solution, right? So what happens is onion just vanished its smell, but when it is dipped with the basic solution, right? So these kinds of indicators, when there is a change in its order, what order? Order means nothing but a smell, nana. When there is a change in smell happens, that is nothing but order happens, and those kinds of indicators will call them as a olfactory indicators. What? Olfactory indicators. Wonderful. Now tell me, what is an olfactory indicator? An indicator, okay, when it is dipped inside an acidic or a basic solution, what happens is there is a change in smell happens, right? So those kinds of indicators will call it as an olfactory indicators. Coming to the normal indicators that we have discussed in activity 1, okay, I'll complete the table in the next video because I just wanted to check whether you guys can able to complete that table or not, right? If you gets completed, just send the send the overall images to my email, that is just type kushiphysics@gmail.com. okay, simply send those photos and I'll just simply see this, right? So coming to the activity 2, we just observed something. What was that? It is nothing but an olfactory indicator. What is an olfactory indicator? An indicator, in this case what happens is instead of change in color, there is a change in its smell. Yes, if there is a change in smell, we simply say that indicator is nothing but an olfactory indicator, right? So coming to the olfactory indicators, we have different kinds of olfactory indicators. Onion is one of the olfactory indicator. Okay, vanilla, you know about vanilla essence, right? So in this case vanilla is also one of the olfactory indicator. Okay, so we'll deal with lots and lots more in the upcoming